Hey folks, here is our 6.6. I'm calling this practice review. I thought it would be a really good idea if I worked out all these problems, and this would be a nice little kind of a review for a quiz that we'll have not next week but the week after. So we'll do some extra practice next week on Tuesday and Wednesday when I see you guys, and then we'll quiz the following week. I'll put it on Canvas for you guys to see, but so you guys are ready to go for our quiz on 6.6, the law of cosines. So we look here in question number 1, and we are talking about the law of cosines. It's actually not number 1, it's number 3, but we are being asked to solve for this side right here. That would be side A, since it's across from angle A. So I'm going to use the formula that says a squared. That says a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2 times b times c times the cosine of a. So now we just fill all of that lovely information in. B is the side that's across from angle B, so it's 21 squared plus c squared would be 42 minus 2 times 21 times 42 times the cosine of A, which is 39 degrees. So a squared equals, and I've been telling you guys to do it in pieces so you don't become overwhelmed with your calculator and stuff like that, but 21 squared plus 42 squared gives me 2205 minus, and that second piece, 2 times 21 times 42 times the cosine of 39. That's going to give us about 1,370.885. So then I have a squared equals, and I'll take 2205 minus, excuse me, 1,370.885. I get about 834.115, and I want A by itself, so I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So I get A is approximately 28.88, so we'll say it's about 28.9. All right, same thing is going to happen over here for 5. In this case, I'm looking for the side that's across from angle C. It's side C. So I'm going to use C squared equals, and we just follow our formula, A squared plus B squared minus 2 times A times B times the cosine of C. So A would be 25 because that's across from side angle A, excuse me. Then I have plus 25 squared minus 2 times 25 times 25 times the cosine of C, which is 140 degrees. So C squared equals 25 squared times plus 25 squared, 1250, minus 2 times 25 times 25 times the cosine of 140. Gives me negative 957.555. So C squared equals, that's going to become a plus 1250 plus 957.555, and I get 2207.555, and then I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So C is about 46.98, so we'll say almost 50. We'll say almost 47. We'll say 46.98 because that's real close. And there's our C. Okay, and number 9, we're doing the exact same thing, guys, but now we're looking for the side that's across from angle B, and that's going to be side B. So it's going to be B squared equals A squared plus C squared minus 2 times A times C times the cosine of B. So we don't know what B squared is, so it's B squared equals A is 24 squared plus C is going to be 30 squared minus 2 times 24 times 30 times the cosine of b, which is 30. So again, 24 squared plus 30 squared is 1476. And then I have minus 2 times 24 times 30 times the cosine of 30. That's 1247.076. So b squared is going to be 1247.076. About 228.924, and then I take the square root of both of those, and I get about 15.13. Okay. All right, let's do number 11. Again, in this case, I'm looking here for side C because they gave me the other two sides. So I have c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2 times a times b minus the cosine of c. So a would be 18 squared plus 10 squared minus 2 times 18 times 10 times the cosine, which is 120. So we have 18 squared plus 10 squared gives me 424 minus 2 times 18 times 10 times the cosine of 120 gives me negative 180. So c squared equals 424 plus 180, 604, square root both sides. And I get that c is about 24.58. Now I'll go up here. I skipped 7. I'm sorry. Apologize for that. But here I'm looking for angle B. So I'm going to use my b squared equals a squared plus c squared minus 2ac times the cosine of b. B in this case is going to be 37.83 squared equals a would be 68.01 squared plus c would be 42.15 squared minus 2 times 68.01 times 42.15 times the cosine of b. Now in this case, guys, you're trying to get the cosine by itself. So let's work all this stuff out. 37.83 squared gives me 1431.1089. Now I'm going to do 68.01 squared plus 42.15 squared. And I get 6401.9826 minus, well, what's 2 times 68.01? Times 42.15, I get 5733.243 times the cosine of b. Now I'm trying to get that cosine of b by itself. So let's just go through how order of operations, how we would solve this equation. I'm going to subtract 6401.9826 from both sides. Minus 6401.9826. So I get 1431 minus, excuse me, 1431.1089 minus 6401.9826. Negative 4970.8737 equals negative 5733.243 times the cosine of b. Still trying to get cosine of b by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by negative 5733.243, negative 5733.243, and I get the cosine of b equals, so we have this divided by 6.8670. Now, I want the actual value of b. I don't want the cosine of it. So I'm going to take arc cosine of one side to get that to cross out. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So angle B measures about 29.89 degrees. All right, guys, an example like number 13, where you don't have a triangle, the first thing you need to do is to draw one quickly. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be quickly, but whatever. So I have side angle A, angle B, angle C. So side A is across from angle A, so that's 3. Side B is across from angle B, so that's 4. And angle C is 53 degrees. So we're going to try and solve this triangle. We're going to figure out the measures of the missing side that we're missing, side C. So the first thing I'm going to do is my C squared equals, I have A squared plus B squared minus 2 times A times B minus, just kidding, times the cosine of C. So A would be 3 squared plus 4 squared minus 2 times 3 times 4 times the cosine of 53. So I have 9 plus 16. 3 squared plus 4 squared. Sorry, I wasn't paying. 25 minus 2 times 3 times 4. So 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 would be 24 times the cosine of 53. So 2 times 3 times 4 times the cosine of 53. Gives me 14.4435. So C squared is going to be 25 minus 14.4435. About 10.5565. And then to get C, I'm going to take the square root of both sides. So C is about 3.25. All right, so now that we have C, we could do the law of cosines again, or we could use the law of sines, since we now have an angle and its corresponding side length. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say that the sine of 53 over 3.25 is equal to the sine of A over 3. So cross multiply. We get sine A times 3.25 equals 3 times the sine of 53. Divide both sides by 3.25. And I get that the sine of A is, we're going to say 3 times the sine of 53 divided by 3.25. And I get 0.7372. Now I don't want the sine, I want actually angle A. So I have to take arc sine of both sides. So I get angle A equals, second sine, second answer. Angle A is about 47.5 degrees. So if I know that angle A is about 47.5, and I know that C is 53, I can add up 47.5 plus 53, and I get 100.5. And then take 180 minus that, and I found out that angle B was about 79.5 degrees. So again, same thing goes for 17. So here we go. We don't have a picture, so let's draw one. So first thing I'm going to do is draw a basic triangle. I have A, I have B, and I have C. So they tell me that side B, okay, that's across from angle B, is 125. Side C, that's across from C, is 162. And then they tell me that angle B is 40. Now, before you guys just go and do all of your law of cosines, you should be able to look here and say, oh, wait a second. I don't even have to use the law of cosines here. I can say, I could use the law of sines because I have a side and its corresponding angle measure to find my other missing pieces. So I can say here that I want to find, let's say, side A. Well, we'll find that in a second. Let's find the missing angle, the angle that we have missing. We could use the law of cosines and find A right now, but let's just find a missing angle. Let's find angle A. So I'm going to say sine of 40 over 125. Well, I'm sorry, we'll find C. Sine of C over 162. So we're going to cross multiply 125 times the sine of C equals 162 times the sine of 40. Divide both sides by 125. So you have the sine of C is, and we're going to say 162 times the sine of 40 divided by 125 gives me 0.83305. I don't want the sine of C. I want actually the angle measure of C. So I'm going to take the arc sine of both sides. So angle C is, second sine, second answer, 56.4 degrees. 56.4 degrees. 56.4 degrees. Now, in order to find angle A, I take 56.4 and 40. So 56.4 plus 40 gives me 96.4. Then I'm going to take 180 minus that. And I get that angle A is 83.6 degrees. And then now that I know that, I can find side A by using the law of sines again. So I'm going to say sine of 40 over 125, which we started with, equals the sine of 83.6 over A. Cross multiply 125 times the sine of 83.6 equals A times the sine of 40. Divide both sides by the sine of 40. And side A is about 125 times the sine of 83.6 divided by the sine of 40. It's about 193.25 units, whatever that would be. Okay, good. All right, 20, same thing. Let's draw a picture since we don't have one. I have angle A, angle B, angle C. So side A is across from A, so 73.5. Angle B is 61 degrees, and angle C is 83 degrees. Okay, so we can find A. First of all, we can find the missing angle by saying when I add up these two angles, 61 plus 83 gives me 144. So 180 minus 144 is going to give me that missing angle. So angle A is 36 degrees. So now to find our missing sides, guys, we don't even need the law of cosines again. We can use our law of sines. So if I'm going to find side B and side C, I can say, okay, well, the sine of 36 over 73.5 equals the sine of 61 over B. Cross multiply 73.5 times the sine of 61 equals B times the sine of 36. Divide both sides by the sine of 36. And side B is about 109.4. 109.4. I could do the exact same thing. Use that same proportion. Sine of 36 over 73.5 equals the sine of 83 over C. Cross multiply, so 73.5 times the sine of 83 equals C times the sine of 36 divided by the sine of 36. So C is about 3. Whoops, I didn't record this one. Okay, let's go back. Okay, let me just walk you through what I just did here, guys. If you notice here, this is this missing angle we can find by adding 35 and 85. It gives me 120. Subtract from 180, get 60. So then I just use this proportion of this side length and this angle. So I said the sine of 60 over 3 is proportionate to the sine of 35 over x, because that's what we're looking for. We cross multiply, and then when we figure this out, 3 sine 35 divided by sine of 60 is about 1.99. That's how long side x is. Okay, guys, we're going to do numbers 29 and 30, and then we are going to be done with this. So 29, I'm going to draw my triangle. I have angle A, I have angle B, and I have angle C. I have side A is 9, side B is 12, and side C is 15. I need to find all three angle measures. We don't have any of them. So the way that we would do that, pick the angle you want to find. So I'm going to first find angle A. We'll just say A. So I'm going to use my law of cosines, and I'm going to say A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C times the cosine of A. So I have A squared, so it would be 9 squared equals, B would be 12 squared plus 15 squared minus 2 times 12 times 15 times the cosine of A. That's what we're trying to get by itself. So if we simplify everything going through here, 9 squared would be 81, 12 squared plus 15 squared gives us 369 minus 2 times 12 times 15 is going to give us 360 times the cosine of A. So we'll subtract 369 from both sides. So 81 minus 369. Negative 288 equals negative 360 times the cosine of A divided by negative 360. So the cosine of A is 0.8. Now I don't want the cosine. I want the actual angle measure. So I'm going to second cosine, arc cosine, which you do to one side, do the other. So angle A is actually 36.9 degrees. So we'll say 36.9 degrees. So if angle A is 36.9, we can either do the law of cosines again, or we can just jump to the law of sines because I have a side length and its corresponding angle. So I'm going to do that because I think that's a little easier on us. So I'm going to say the sine of 36.9 over 9 equals the sine, we'll just do B, over 12. Cross multiply, so 9 times the sine of B equals 12 times the sine of 36.9. Divide both sides by 9. The sine of B is about, let's do this in our calculator, 12 times the sine 36.9 divided by 9. 0.8005. I don't want the sine, I want the actual value of the angle, so I'm going to arc sine both sides. So angle B is about 53.2 degrees, 53.2 degrees. So if B is 53.2 degrees, then I can add those two together, 53.2 plus 36.9, and I get 90.1, and I say 180 minus 90.1, and I get that angle C is about 89.9 degrees. We're going to do the exact same thing for 32, and then we will be done, guys. I have my triangle. Angle A, angle B, angle C. So side A is across from angle A, it's 11. Side B is across from angle B, it's 100. And side C is across from angle C, it's 101. So let's try and find angle A. I have A squared equals B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C times the cosine of A. A squared would be 11 squared equals 100 squared plus 101 squared minus 2 times 100 times 101 times the cosine of A. Again, getting cosine of A isolated. So 11 squared is 121. 100 squared plus 101 squared gives me 20201 minus 2 times 100 times 101. 20200 times the cosine of A. Again, getting cosine of A by itself. So subtract 20201 minus 20201 from both sides. Negative 20080 equals negative 20200 times the cosine of A. Divide both sides by negative 20200, negative 20200, and I get the cosine of A is 0.99405. I don't want the cosine, guys. I want the angle measure, so I have to arc cosine both sides. So angle A is, second cosine, second answer, 6.25 degrees. So if angle A is about 6.25 degrees, I can now set up my law of sines, and I can say that the sine of 6.25 over 11 equals the sine of B over, well, what's side B? 100. Cross multiply. 11 times the sine of B equals 100 times the sine of 6.25 divided by 11. So the sine of B equals 100 times the sine of 6.25 divided by 11. I get 0.9896. I don't want the sine, I want the angle measure. So I have to do arc sine of both sides. So angle B is 81.8 degrees. So if angle B is 81.8 degrees, then I can find C because I'll add those two together. 81.8 plus 6.25 gives me 88.05. I'm going to subtract 180, and I get 91.95 degrees is C. So there we go, guys. A bunch of problems using law of sines, law of cosines. You will be able to do this on your quiz, which is going to be the week of April the 20th. So I will upload this now for you guys. Thank you.